We're going to dive in directly to the text in 177 Mental Toughness Secrets is incredibly important. It's one of those things that I happen to come back to a lot for people that are in this transition, trying to, again, design the life that they want, really take their lives to the next level. Something that we always have to remember is we have to constantly be learning and experiencing new things, right? Learning is incredibly important. Some of you might have heard the saying before, that successful people are constant learners, right? They're always learning. They're always picking up new information. They're always reading something. They're always asking good questions. Why? Because they want to take in new information. And oftentimes, when we get out of school, we stop learning, right? When we get out of formal education, we stop really learning and being eager to learn. One of my quarrels with schooling, our traditional education system, because you guys might have heard me mention it before, right? We're trying to keep our daughter out of the traditional education system. We're going to homeschool her and, right, do a bunch of stuff. But one of my quarrels with the traditional education system is that when we come out of school, most of us don't have a love of learning, right? School is supposed to give us a love of learning. It's supposed to allow us to find what we like, whether it be history or math or science or reading or whatever it is, whatever the subject is. We're supposed to come out of school learning or knowing what we like or what we want to learn more of or what we want to dive deeper into, and then also our learning style and how we learn, because everybody learns a little bit differently, right? That's what I believe school is supposed to do for us. It's supposed to get us to that place. Unfortunately, a lot of times it doesn't. We come out of school actually not wanting to learn, right? Think about it. It's graduation season right now, right? So people are graduating. How many high schoolers are graduating excited to go pick up some more books, right? They're not graduating for the summer like, oh, let me go get into this next novel, this next book. Let me learn a little bit more. Why? Because it takes that learning away. It takes the love of learning away. But it's the opposite for what we need to be successful. It's the opposite of what we need to be successful. In order to be successful, we have to embrace learning. We have to want to learn. We have to be eager to pick up new information. Oftentimes, we are where we are in our life from a financial standpoint because of the skill sets that we've learned. So if we a lot of times want to improve our financial life specifically, if we improve our skill sets, if we learn a new skill, if we learn something different, we have the ability to bring in more income. It's really about learning. A lot of times we think we have to go back to school in order to learn, right? Well, I don't know. My career right now is not getting me to where I want to be. I'm not making all the money I want to. Maybe if I go back to school, then I can pick up some new skills. I can get a new degree, and that can make me more money. So that is the way we've been trained to kind of think about learning. But again, these calls, they're not meant for everybody. These calls are meant for people that want to take their life to the next level. So what we have to remember is that learning comes in many different forms, not just in the institution, not just in the college or in the university. Learning comes in many different forms, but the key is we have to be eager to learn if we want to take our lives to the next level. We have to be eager to learn. So here's what it says in the text: 177 mental toughness secrets of the world class. Number 115 says the great ones are learning machines. The great ones are learning machines. It says here, for most people in modern Western culture, learning means memorizing facts, theories, theorems, and dates. That's what most of us were taught to do in school. To average people, learning is a late night cram session and a pot of coffee to stay awake. Professional performers have overcome this outdated industrial age system and created a formula for learning and developing their minds. Creating a formula for learning and developing their minds. As speaker Jim Rohn says, formal education will make you a living. Self-education will make you a fortune. The pros know this to be accurate and invest heavily in books, tapes, and CD programs on everything from personal development to business sales, marketing, and management. They read and study trade journals and become world-renowned experts. Average people spend less than $10 annually on books. The top 1% of income earners in America invest nearly $10,000 annually on books and other learning resources. They attend seminars, workshops, and retreats. Amateur performers look at these investments as a waste of time and money. They are more likely to invest their money in lottery tickets, satellite TV, cigarettes, alcohol, and other forms of entertainment. The great ones, in the words of scientific genius Buckminster Fuller, dare to be naive. The middle class thinks they have little left to learn. World-class performers know the more they learn, the greater the level of awareness they reach. And the greater the level of awareness, the more they realize how much more there is left to learn. The great ones know learning, like love, is infinite. There's no end until their heart stops beating. Learning machines. So that's the question for all of us today. What are we learning? What are you learning? What are you picking up? What are you applying yourself to? What new information are you getting? Are you creating a formula to develop your mind to get you to the place you need to be, to design the life that you want? Today is a Wednesday. Use today as one of those days to just recalibrate, to just sit back and say, you know what? I need to pick up a new skill set. What do I want to learn? What do I want to dive into? What do I want to become better at? What do I want to become more proficient at? If this is about money for you, for some of us, it's about money. Hey, I need to bring in some more income. I need to change my financial situation. Well, I would challenge you, get a new skill set. Get a new skill set that you practice and become really good at. Malcolm Gladwell wrote a book called The Outliers. He talks about 10,000 hours equals mastery. 10,000 hours. So you do anything for 10,000 hours, you'll become a master at it. You can play the violin for 10,000 hours. You can change tires for 10,000 hours. You can sing for 10,000 hours. You can play a sport for 10,000 hours. You can read for 10,000 hours. Anything that you do for 10,000 hours, you can become a master at it. The question is, what do you want to become a master at? And are you learning these things? Are you applying yourself to these things? Are you picking up books, audios, webinars? Are you going to seminars? Are you getting around people? Are you investing money and time and energy into learning? Again, we do this when we go to school, right? We can think about it from a very basic place of, hey, if you go back to school, you're investing money. You got to take out that student loan, probably. You got to pay for your tuition. You got to go back, right? You got to pay somebody to teach you out of a book so they can give you the piece of paper so you can go present it to the guy at the job so they can validate that you're good for the job. So we're willing to pay for that. The question is, what if you just paid for self-education? What if you just paid for self-education? It says it in here, the Jim Rohn quote, formal education will make you a living. Self-education will make you a fortune. Formal education will make you a living. Self-education will make you a fortune. So for those of us that want to go make a fortune, well, what are you self-educating on? What are you educating yourself on? What are you spending time and resources and money to go down the path and say, you know what, let me get better at this. Let me get better at this. Those of you that want to be entrepreneurs or are in the process of being an entrepreneur or have a business or whatever the case is. Maybe if you've never come from sales, maybe you should think about learning sales. You ever think about it? Hey, I have a business. You know what the key driver of business is? Sales, right? The business of business is to stay in business. How do you stay in business? You got to sell something. You got to make money, right? You got to have some revenue coming in. So what if you want to start a business because that's your ultimate goal? It's something maybe God's placed in your mind. It's something that you see. You're like, you know what? I want to start a business. But you've never been in sales. You've never sold anything. You've never even tried, not even when you were a kid selling chocolate bars, right? Or pizzas or whatever they had when you were a kid, right? You didn't even do that one well. But now you want to start a business. Well, the self-education, right? Some people the way our minds work, we say, okay, well, let me go back to school and get a business degree, right? Let me go back to school for business because I want to start a business. Well, let me go to school for business. That maybe isn't what you need. Maybe you just need to do some self-education around sales, around how to craft your message, around how to communicate your value, around how to put a mission statement together, around how to, transact with another person, how to, close your prospect, how to make it a win-win deal. Like maybe that's the skill set you need to learn so that you can go build the business that's in your mind that's going to take you to financial freedom. But the learning part is not business. It's just sales. It's just, I've never had to sell something. I've never had to influence somebody to do the right thing. I've never had to influence somebody to my vision. Now, I would tell you guys that if you have children or, right, you're in a family, sales, right? Because you have to sell them, right? Like you have to influence them to do the right thing. I have to sell my daughter to eat vegetables instead of candy, right? I have to sell her on that fact. She tries to sell me on that fact that she should have candy, and I try to sell her back on the fact that she needs to eat vegetables. We're going back and forth. That's sales. That's in a family setting. But if you want to build a business, you probably got to do the same thing in a business setting. So if you don't know it, well, now it's time to learn it. The great ones are learning machines. There's nothing out there that you cannot learn. Especially in 2023, ladies and gentlemen, we have this really, really special platform that's out on the internet. It's a real special site. If you don't know it, I'll give you a second to grab a pen. You can write it down. It's real, real easy. If you don't know it, spelled Google. Google. Okay? Google is the place that if you don't know something or you have a question or you want to learn something new, type it in to Google or YouTube and a bunch of stuff is going to pop up and you can sit there and start learning. It's that easy, ladies and gentlemen. I know I just dropped a bombshell on you. None of you guys heard that website before. It's okay. I understand. There's new things out there. But yes, Google is a place you can go if you want to learn, and YouTube. So there's no excuse as to why we can or what we can or cannot learn. Question is, right, again, what are you trying to get to? What skill set do you need to make yourself successful? It might not always come in the form of an actual degree. It might just come in the form of a course or sitting down with somebody or getting a little insight on something that you don't know, but you got to learn. We got to be eager to learn. Let's take it in again. You guys know we talk about this. Success is in every area of your life. So this can be from a financial side of things, from a business side. You want to learn how to build a business? Well, guess what? Start reading some books on business. Start studying people that ran successful businesses. Go watch some YouTube videos. Go take a course. Go get around somebody. Go learn sales. Go learn marketing. Go actually don't pay somebody to go get a marketing degree where you have to go get a job. Go study what it means to become a good marketer. Study companies that do marketing well. That's if you want to get ahead financially in a business, right? But move that success into another area. What about your family life? How many of you, talking about kids, how many of you have read a parenting book recently? How many of you have read multiple parenting books recently? How many of you have listened to parenting podcasts or the children's psychology experts that talk to you about language around your children and around how to parent and all those things? And granted, not everything works for everyone, but you can learn what will work for you in your parenting style. We don't come out there. Nobody gives you a manual of how to parent. Nobody teaches you how to handle your children. So maybe that's a place of learning if you want to be a good parent. You're like, hey, you know what? I want to be a really good parent. Well, if you don't know how to do it, then you got to learn. You got to read. You got to get around some people. You got to talk. Like that is the same principle, learning. You got to be a learning machine. If you don't know it, learn. I would tell people, right? My wife and I are going, July makes 12 years married, 15 years together, right? And I've said, I've read a bunch of marriage books. Why? Because I didn't come out the womb knowing how to do this. I don't know how to, right? I wasn't always aware how to be a good husband or, right, what a woman needs and all that stuff. I don't know that stuff, but I was eager to learn. You read the 5 love language and, right, you read Kingdom Man, and you read all these books and giving you ideas of what it means to be a husband and all that stuff. It's because I'm eager to learn things I don't know. I'm eager to invest in things that are going to help me learn more things so I can earn more, right? Good old saying, the more you learn, the more you earn. You want more finances, learn more stuff. You want to be better in your relationships, learn how to be better in your relationships. There was an old audio I used to listen to. It was a Tony Robbins audio. He has like this relationship audio. Me and my wife used to listen to it, and it really gave us some foundational things to talk about the levels of love, right? Like a lot of times Tony Robbins talks about this, what he calls like this level 1 love, where basically it's like reciprocal. Like if they do it for me, then I'll do it for them. But if they don't do it for me, then I won't do it for them, right? They call that level 1, right? And then, right, you climb up those levels, you get to top where basically you're doing things because of you, not because of the other person. And it's learning how to become better. It's learning, right? School can only take us so far. Reading, writing, arithmetic, right? Cool. Everything else after that, we got to learn. We got to go pick up. So that's what I'm encouraging all of us to do, is spend time learning the things that are getting us to the life that we want. We talk about it all the time on these morning calls. We're here to design the life that we want, not just accept the life that we have. So if you can start thinking about, what's the life that I want to live? Who am I? What does it look like? Where do I spend my time? Not just the things, the material things, but like the actual, like where you spend your time, what life looks like, what you're seeing out of your eyes, right? Your happiness level, your joy, all that stuff. Like if you can understand what that looks like for you in 5 years, in 10 years, whatever that is, then you can ask yourself the question, well, what do I need to learn in order to become that person? What do I need to do better? What areas do I need to improve in order to be that person, or in order to get to that lifestyle? And then once you have that blueprint, then we just got to go and apply this knowledge. We got to start learning. We got to start actively picking up books, actively talking to people. Learning does not just come in the institution of school. I think it was Jim Rohn, might have been Les Brown, said never mix up or never confuse education with schooling, right? Never confuse education with schooling, right? We're here. You have to educate yourself. You have to continue to educate yourself. But it's different from just going through school or going back to school or getting some schooling, right? We need education. Education is needed. Self-education is needed. Each of us, you identifying what are the areas you need to improve. What are the areas that you need to say, okay, we need to make leaps in this area. And now what are we doing? What resources are we picking up? How intentional are we about the energy we're putting into that subject, into that thing? You just got to know, ladies and gentlemen, you got to learn. We got to become more aware of these areas, and we got to put it in practice that we want to go be learners. It says Jack Welch, who was the former chairman of GE, said an organization's ability to learn and translate that learning into an action rapidly is the ultimate competitive business advantage. Unlearning and relearning. Unlearning and relearning. That process, ladies and gentlemen, is what you're working on. Unlearning and relearning. Unlearning old habits, unlearning old mindsets, unlearning bad behaviors, unlearning programming, faulty programming, relearning new programming, relearning the skill sets you need in order to develop and design the life that you want. But it's all about learning. It's all about studying. It's all about diving in, investing in books, webinars, audios, those types of things. I think I've broken this out for you guys before. Here's a quick kind of rule of thumb. I think I heard it from Brian Tracy. Rule of thumb is investing 3% of your income back into yourself, into your personal development or personal growth or business growth, or right, something you want to learn. 3% of your income every year back into yourself. So if you make $100,000 a year, $3,000 a year should go back into your learning between books and webinars and conferences and things you want to invest in, right? You make $50,000 a year, then that's half of that, right? So $1,500. If you make 50 grand a year, $1,500 a year should be invested back into your knowledge, your education, your learning. It doesn't have to be through an institution of school. It's self-education. That's what we need. You need to identify in your life, because everyone's different. You sitting in a history class or a general education class or some random business class from school is not necessarily going to help you have courage to go get rejected, right? Those things are separate. You might have all the knowledge, but what you need is you need to learn how to have courage. Maybe you need to learn how to have more faith. Maybe you need to learn, maybe you do need to learn sales, or you do need to learn marketing or operations of your business. Those are things that are not going to come in the institution of school, but you still need them. So my encouragement is for you to go get those things. Identify where you need to grow, identify the things you need to learn, and then go get those things to take your life to where you need to be. The action step for today says make a commitment to develop your own self-education program. Make a commitment to develop your own self-education program. Just like at school, they give you the curriculum. They tell you when the test is. They tell you what you're going to study. They tell you the books to read. You should make a commitment to develop your own self-education program. And here's why this is important. Because if successful people are constant learners, if you want to be successful, then that means you have to constantly learn. You have to know more this year than you did last year. What's funny about the way this works, it actually says it in here. It says the middle class thinks they have little left to learn. World-class performers know the more they learn, the greater level of awareness they reach. And the greater level of awareness, the more you realize how much more there is left to learn. The higher up you go, the more you start to learn, the more you start to realize how much you don't know. That's the funny part about it. It's because there's so much. That's why learning is infinite. That's why the greatest, most successful people are constantly learning, because the more you learn, you never get to a point where you think you have little left to learn. There's always more to learn, and you learn that about yourself. The middle class thinks they know what they need to know. Oh, there's probably little left to learn. I just kind of go through, I know that already. I've been that, I've seen that, I've done that. I know somebody that did that. They're not open to learning. The more you're open to learning, the more you realize how much you don't know. It actually humbles you a bunch. You actually speak less when you realize that there's so much more that you don't know, right? But you have to come up and make a commitment to your own self-education plan to learn how to learn. You got to be aware of how you learn. How you learn. Another downside of school, because we all learn in this whole classroom setting, sometimes we don't get individual approaches to how we learn. We all learn differently. Some of us are audio learners, right? We listen to things. Some of us are visual learners, right? We got to see things on the screen. We got to touch things. Some of us have to write things down, right? The way that we learn is we hear and we copy notes and we read our notes, right? Like you have to learn how you learn. I would recommend put together a self-education program for yourself for the month of June. Hey, tomorrow's June 1st. June 1st, I'm going to start off by learning marketing. Or I'm going to start off by reading about sales. Or I'm going to start off by reading about leadership or management or parenting or relationships or cooking or whatever the skill set is that I need right now in my life to help me go to the next level. That's what I'm going to start reading. and I'm going to be diligent. I'm going to study it. I'm going to read it every day. I'm going to listen to it every day. I'm going to be put time and energy into this skill set. This skill set. That's really what this is about. It's about putting in the time and energy to develop the skill set you need to design the life that you want. It says here, read, listen, and attend seminars and workshops. Set a goal to read a certain number of books and listen to a certain number of CDs or audios each month. This shift in lifestyle will catapult your career and your consciousness. That's what it's about. Let's catapult our career. Let's catapult our consciousness, specifically by learning, by putting ourselves in a position to learn. Be eager to learn. Get new information. The more you're eager to learn, the better questions you'll ask. The more you're curious. People that are in business with it, I'm looking at Dana, right? People that are in business with me know I always say, for us that go out and we're talking to people, be interested more than interesting. Be interested more than interesting. I want to be interested in another person more than I want you to think that I'm an interesting person, right? Before me just telling you all my stories and all the stuff I know and right, oh, Chris is so cool. I want to know about you. I'm interested in you. I'm interested to find out more about you because that's how I learn. You give me your perspective. You give me how you think of things. You give me how you were raised or what you deal with on a daily basis. Now I can learn about you and about where you come from and about how to handle certain situations. By me just talking, I don't learn anything. So that's why I like asking questions. That's why I would encourage all of you out there in the world, be interested in people, be interested to learn, be interested to gather information, take that information, apply it in our lives. Let's go design the life that we deserve. I love you guys. I want you to win. You deserve to win. You're very welcome. I'm glad you guys continue to show up. Like I said, I'm grateful for all of you that continue to show up. Let's go out, make it an awesome Wednesday. We'll come back around on Friday, send this out to somebody, text somebody, be like, hey, you need to jump on, get your word for the morning, let them come on, and then let's go out and change the world. Do something that scares you, push yourself out of the comfort zone. Go make it happen. Love you guys. Have a great day.